This channel is not just about stories. It's about hidden codes, codes that lie behind the reality you live in. And perhaps, without realizing it, you've been trying to decipher them for years. Here, each case is a key, a clue, a mirror of what you may also be experiencing. Today, what you will hear seems impossible. But when you understand universal laws, the impossible becomes just misunderstood. What are the chances of someone winning the lottery once? Now imagine winning 3 times. Is it just luck, or is something deeper creating these results? This is the story of Michael, an ordinary man, from a small town in the interior of the United States. One of those places where routine swallows dreams, and everyone learns to survive without ever questioning why. Michael was 43 years old when everything started to change. Married, father of 2 children, disciplined worker, one of those who do everything right, but live with the feeling of always being one step behind in life. He woke up every day in the dark, left the house before the sun rose, and came back when the sky was dark again. Everything seemed to work, except him on the inside. Despite this, there was something that no one saw. A silent, almost mystical habit. Before going to sleep, he would open an old notebook and write sentences like, "Money comes to me easily. I am blessed with invisible luck." It was his secret ritual, something between faith and despair. Deep down, Michael didn't feel lucky. He felt forgotten, as if life was passing him by and never with him. But something changed. One ordinary morning, sitting in the kitchen with a cold coffee in his hand, he listened to the lottery results on the old radio he had inherited from his father. And for the first time, his name was there. He had won $200,000. The strangest thing? He had written that number, exactly, in his notebook 2 days earlier. Some would say it was a coincidence. But 2 years later, it happened again. In another state, in another game. And for the 3rd time, another victory. And what seemed like luck was now starting to seem like something else. And you? Have you ever felt like life is trying to show you something, but you still don't understand what? Have you ever had the feeling that there is an invisible pattern behind everything, including what repeats itself in your life? If so, write in the comments. I know there is something bigger behind it. Stay until the end of this video, because today, perhaps, you will find the answer that your soul has been searching for a long time. Like it right now if you feel like the universe has already tried to wake you up in some way. And subscribe to the channel, because here we don't just narrate mysteries. We reveal the codes behind reality. This is your place if you want to awaken, change your life, and create a new destiny, even if everything seems to be against you now. There are real people who have won the lottery more than once. And no matter how statistically absurd it may seem, the details of these stories always reveal something beyond mathematics. People like Cynthia Stafford, for example, who said the same phrase every day, wrote the same number, visualized the same scene, with the same feeling, and one day, she received exactly the amount she had mentally projected, $112 million. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It was intention. Or the case of the man in Australia who had been playing the same numbers for over 10 years. They asked him why he insisted so much, even though he had lost hundreds of times. And he replied, "Because I've seen these numbers come out, not with my eyes, but with certainty." And one day, they left, and he was there, ready, as if reality was just catching up to what he had already experienced thousands of times inside his own mind. Michael, that small-town everyman, seemed different after second prize, not because of the money itself, but because something inside him lit up. The feeling that he had touched an invisible, powerful force that was now somehow watching him. He didn't say it out loud, but between the lines, in the gestures, in the words he chose, it was clear Michael knew. I knew I had opened a door. And that's when the story starts to get weirder. After his second victory, he began to have vivid dreams. Dreams of places you've never seen, but that seemed familiar. With people who said things like, "It's already done, you just need to keep feeling." It was as if his unconscious had become a vibrational training field. And the more he fed that with silent faith, the more the signs appeared. Once he found a golden coin on the street. It had no real financial value, but it bore an inscription, "Expect miracles." He kept it, and every time I felt doubt, I looked at that coin. When the 3rd victory happened, he had it in his pocket. But what's most impressive is what he started writing after that. Phrases like, "Nothing is random. Everything that comes to me, I summoned it. My mind is a trained magnet." Michael had become someone else. Not in the outward sense. He was still calm, discreet. He avoided talking about money. But internally, he no longer believed in luck. He believed in harmony. And this conviction began to affect everything around him. People reported feeling something different when being around him, as if there was a magnetic field around it. Even his wife, who previously thought these ideas of energy and positive thinking were exaggerated, began to feel curious. It's like he knew ahead of time, like he was already experiencing things inside, and the world was just trying to catch up to that vibe, she once said. And you? Have you ever had that feeling of déjà vu, as if you were just rediscovering something your soul already knew? Because maybe, just maybe, you too are living from the inside out, without realizing it. Maybe that's why certain things just arrive. Have you ever felt like something was yours before it even happened? That almost inexplicable feeling that something was on the way, not because there was proof, but because inside, you were already living it? It's not delusion. It's not fantasy. This has another name, alignment. And maybe, if you've been through this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The most interesting thing about the journey of people like Michael, and maybe yours too, is that the world out there looks the same. Nothing changes dramatically. The work continues to be demanding. The bills continue to arrive. The challenges don't disappear overnight. But inside a silent revolution begins to happen. A type of certainty that comes not from logic, but from frequency. It's as if the soul begins to whisper, everything is right, even if it feels wrong. And that kind of peace doesn't come when reality transforms. She comes first. It comes when you stop chasing things and start feeling them as if they were already part of you. Michael said that, in the months before his third victory, he woke up with a kind of gratitude that he couldn't even explain. Nothing in particular had happened, but he already felt like he had won. He woke up smiling. It was lighter. He stopped worrying so much about how or when things would arrive. I just felt it, and he trusted. Maybe you've also been through something similar. A relationship that seemed impossible, but you felt like it was meant to be. A project that everyone said wouldn't work, but you already saw it ready inside your mind. Or even a place, a city, a home that you haven't even visited yet, but feel like you've lived there for years. This feeling is not common, but she is real. And do you know why? Because the vibrational field you carry, your emotional frequency, has more influence on your reality than any planning, effort, or statistics. And when you enter this state of alignment, the universe stops resisting. He starts to cooperate. And it's like everything around you says yes, without you having to beg. Michael didn't tell almost anyone about the third victory before it happened. But those who lived with him said that, somehow, they already knew. The way he looked, the way he spoke, the way he walked, it was as if he had already received that. As if I were living in a future that the rest of the world had not yet reached. Do you understand what this means? Maybe you're carrying something in there too. A vision, a desire, a silent certainty. And no matter how much the world says it hasn't happened yet, inside, you feel like it's already yours. That's not crazy. This is creation. And now tell me, how many times have you sabotaged yourself because you thought you were traveling too much? How many times did you doubt what you felt, just because you couldn't play yet? Because maybe, right now, reality is just waiting for you to sustain this vibration long enough. Just that. Stay with me, because what we are going to reveal now will show you what is really happening when life tells you not yet, even when, inside, everything is already screaming yes. The law of mentalism says, everything begins in the mind. Nothing that manifests itself on the physical plane happens without first being conceived on the invisible plane of thought. And the law of attraction complements it. You don't receive what you want. You receive what is compatible with your predominant vibration. Desire is just the invitation, but it is the emotional frequency that signs the contract with the universe. Michael wasn't just a lucky man. He was a vibrationally available man. He had trained his mind to believe before seeing, to feel before having, to align before touching. And this is exactly what differentiates those who live extraordinary experiences from those who only dream about them. The degree of internal certainty. Do you know when you sign a check with a future date? You know the money isn't in the account yet, but you believe it will be. And you hand over that check with confidence. The mind works the same way. When you vibrate as if you already have it, the universe understands it is done. It's just a matter of time. And time, for universal laws, is just a reflection of your internal resistance. Michael had stopped resisting. He no longer vibrated with doubt. He no longer asked desperately. He no longer questioned whether it was possible. He knew. And this certainty is the greatest sign that creation is about to emerge from mind to matter. People like this don't live expecting miracles. They become the field where miracles manifest. And there's something that almost no one talks about. The universe doesn't react to what you say you want. It responds to what you deeply believe. If you say, "I want to prosper," but deep down you feel fear, scarcity, or guilt when thinking about money, this is the dominant frequency, and it is what shapes your reality. Michael had turned that game around. He had taught the body to feel gratitude before the prize. I had rehearsed the thrill of victory for so long that when it arrived, it just seemed like the next logical step. This is the key that many ignore. You can't cheat vibration. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to internal states. It's like a mirror. It doesn't show what he speaks. It shows what you, and when no one is looking. And that's why certain people, like Michael, collapse reality in their favor. Because they are internally coherent, emotionally open, and energetically compatible with what they say they want. And this could be happening to you right now, even if you haven't realized it yet. Have you ever noticed that when you are at peace, connected, feeling that everything is going to work out, things really flow more smoothly? And when you're anxious, forcing, doubting, it seems like everything stops. It's no coincidence. It's vibrational response. Reality obeys the energy you hold, not the intention you casually declare. Michael became an electromagnetic field of certainty. And when that happens, the universe has no choice. He responds. He delivers. Because the mind has already written the check, and the heart has already recognized that the amount is available. Now think, what are you signing in there without realizing it? What is your mind transmitting to the universe, even when you don't say anything? Because perhaps, without knowing it, you are creating exactly what you say you don't want. And that's when the laws begin to operate with mathematical precision. But here comes the twist. The part no one talks about when they tell these incredible manifestation stories. Most people are only impressed by the miracle, by the end result. Won the lottery 3 times. It became news. It attracted looks. But what comes next is the true test. Not every lottery winner stays rich. This is real data. Most of them lose everything within a few years. And do you know why? Because manifesting is just the beginning. The vibration that attracts is not necessarily the same as the one that sustains. And this is a shocking spiritual truth. The mind not only creates, it can also destroy. If your internal system still carries beliefs of scarcity, unworthiness, fear, or guilt, sooner or later these vibrations will find a way to express themselves. Even if you have attracted something incredible, if there is an unresolved vibration within you, it will manifest itself too, but now, as sabotage. Michael began to realize this silently, almost like a whisper from the soul. After the 3rd victory, he didn't lose the money, but he began to feel restless, as if something wanted to take him out of that state of fullness. It was subtle but insistent, and he understood signs. I knew it wasn't just psychological. It was vibrational. Years later, he said, he began to observe thoughts that he had never felt before. Fear of losing everything, guilt for having too much, discomfort when seeing friends experiencing difficulties, and above all, a recurring thought, "This won't last." This phrase, small and almost imperceptible, carried a powerful energy. Because every time it appeared, it moved away from the frequency of abundance and closer to scarcity. And it was at that point that he realized that the real manifestation was not money. It was the internal state that money had reflected. And now, to maintain that, he would have to reprogram not the world, but himself. Because the mind is a creative field, but it is also a maintaining field. If it is not in coherence, external reality begins to collapse. How many times have you attracted something good, and then started to feel afraid of losing it? How many times have you created a beautiful opportunity, but inside, you didn't feel prepared enough or worthy? That's where self-sabotage comes in, disguised as doubts, exaggeration, prudence. But in reality, it is the unconscious trying to return reality to the old familiarity. For the old you, Michael chose another path. He began a deep reprogramming process. Because he understood one thing. External reality can only expand as far as internal reality allows. There is no point in changing on the outside if inside you continue to carry the same limitation code. The mind doesn't just attract, it sustains or undoes. And that changes everything, doesn't it? Because if you think you haven't attracted what you want yet, perhaps the most important question isn't how to manifest it, but rather, have I become someone capable of maintaining what I am asking for? Because the universe doesn't make mistakes. He delivers as much as you can sustain. No more, no less. So tell me, was it luck or was it the law? What have you been silently feeding in there without even realizing it? What thoughts have you been rehearsing every day that may be shaping your reality right now? If something in this video turned on a light inside you, comment below with the word alignment. It shows that you are ready to co-create, not just wish. Take advantage of this moment and leave your like now, because this helps this content reach other people who are also awakening. And subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, because the next story will move you even more.